Hey yo, what's up? Welcome back to the Haunted Basement Studio. I'm your host with the most ghosts, Triple B. And you know what? We're doing another 5-minute comic book review where we're going to try to bust out 3 comic books in 5 minutes each. And the first one is we're going back to Magik, baby. Yes, we did some long form reviews of Magik all the way up to issue number 5. The story art was over. It was completed after 5. And it looks like we maybe have a one shot, maybe continuing into the next story arc. But this one, we got the Goblin Queen. So here, let's talk about Magik, issue number 6 from Marvel Comics. And then we're also going to be talking about Grimm, Tales of Terror. This is the Slit-Mouthed Woman, issue number 7. And this thing just came out. And you know, we were disappointed with the last one, but this one might just be a lot better. So we're going to do that one. And of course, we're going to continue with the Mark Spears Monsters. We got issue number 2 right here. We're going to be reading this and doing a review on this one as well. And again, you can hit the timestamp down below for the chapters. So if you want to skip a book, that's all good. Or if you want to jump to a book, even better, man. All right, now here we go. All right, Magik issue number 6. It's going to pick up right where number 5 left off after the destruction of the Lamental Seals all got broken. So Magik, Psylocke, and the Juggernaut are cleaning up the mess, killing all of the demons that are left over from all the seals. Meanwhile, down in Limbo, there's an assassination attempt on Madelyne Pryor, who is the Goblin Queen, the new queen of Limbo, because Magik gave her the realms so she can come back up to Earth and try to get away from that hellish realm that she grew up in. And Magik now is like at a crossroads with Madelyne Pryor because she doesn't understand how Limbo got in so much chaos, because there are subjects that are trying to overtake Madelyne Pryor and become the rulers of Limbo. And what I mean by this is that they are trying to forge a new weapon that will go up against Madelyne Pryor's staff and Illyana's soul sword. Madelyne Pryor is the clone of Jean Grey that was made by Mr. Sinister so that he can put evil deeds in her, you know, make her do evil things. But Magik sees the good in her still because she was made by Zenescope in Limbo, and they are kind of from the same cloth. And now as Madelyne Pryor and Magik sit down with the council in Limbo, they realize that the rebels have been summoning Magik to do their rituals to try to forge a new weapon to take down Limbo. And with a mission, they were able to find out where they were hiding. And Madelyne Pryor's like, well, why hasn't this been taken care of yet? And the ghouls there that are on the council, and then they look at Magik and they say, well, she used to be the ruler of Limbo. And Madelyne Pryor, I will not have any of this. I am the Goblin Queen. I am the ruler. She is no longer the ruler. And then Magik says, no, I am only here to help, and you guys will listen to your queen or else there will be consequences. All right, man, so now we get to see our main villain of this book right here. It is Galvin the Alchemist, and he is saying that he watched Madelyne Pryor forge her scythe of sorrow out of the same magic material that they are in right now. And he's saying that it is his birthright, because he was born in Limbo, to forge his own weapon to take down Madelyne Pryor and Magik, because Magik has a soul sword that was forged here in Limbo, and the scythe of sorrow was forged here, so maybe they can forge a more powerful weapon to take them both down, and that he can become the ruler of Limbo. All right, Madelyne and Illyana make their way to the wastelands where the rebels are hiding out and forging their new weapon. When they get there, the weapon is already forged and a big old battle happens between them. But Madelyne Pryor and freaking Magik are way too powerful for these characters. As Galvin the Alchemist pulls out the sword that he forged, he says this sword will take down the soul sword because it can, like, use its powers and make its powers weak. But Magik says, oh, contraire there, my little one, because my soul sword was made from my soul, because there was no soul here in Limbo, and I am the prodigal daughter of Limbo. And as she puts a magic spell out against Galvin the Alchemist, his sword starts to levitate out of his hand and starts to come towards Magik, as now she is the holder of the new sword, and she says, "This is the great sword." And then as Madelyne Pryor and Magik take care of business, they are talking as they're making their way back to the castle. And Madelyne Pryor says, "I understand if you want Limbo back," but Magik's like, "No, I don't want Limbo back. I want you to be the ruler of it, and you are the ruler of it." And this whole time is that Madelyne is thinking that Magik doesn't want, to give up Limbo, but she does. But Magik realizes that she can also help Madelyne Pryor as a consultant in Limbo, and they can become a team. But Madelyne Pryor is the Goblin Queen, and she is the ruler of Limbo in this one. All right, man, my final thoughts on Magik issue number 6. We do have a new artist on this one. So the art on this one, I'm going to drop to a 6. I didn't really care for it too much. It was all right. It wasn't too bad. I mean, a lot better than I can do as well, but not too bad. A lot kind of going on here in the story. Obviously, I didn't tell you it all, but the art is 6 out of 10. The story, we're going to give it a 7 out of 10. After rereading this like 2 times, the first read through, I wasn't kind of too impressed by it because I was like really hooked on the last story arc. But rereading it, I'm going to jump it up to a 7 out of 10. Not too bad. So Magik is great, man. Go pick it up. I think we're only going to have like 10 issues of this because there's going to be something going on with the apocalypse coming up next. But there we go, dude. I recommend it, and if you want to see any of my other Magik reviews, I got some full breakdowns, and I'll leave the card up right there, and I'll leave in the description box maybe the playlist of all of them so you can watch them all together. All right, let's see what we got next. All right, man, next thing we got right here, man, we got Zenescope, Grimm Tales of Terror, the Slit-Mouthed Woman. Yeah, what? Issue number 7. Man, so the first like 2 pages, man, shows like some dude getting out of an elevator and someone walking up to him and asking him if she is pretty. And next thing you know, you have some other people walking into the elevator, and that dude is laying in a pool of blood in the elevator. And then we cut, that was in Tokyo, and then we cut to like New York, and it looked like this dude and this chick just got done bleeping, if you know what I mean. He's like, "Oh crap, what time is it?" She's like, "It's 6:30. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go." And she looks at him. She's like, "When are you gonna tell her? You're just stringing me along." He says, "No, babe, I love you. I just need a little bit more time to tell her." And as this dude, I think his name is Scott, he gets home to his wife and he's calling her out. Like, "Where are you at? I'm sorry, I had to work late." He's like, "You know what, babe? I'm just going to take a quick shower." And as he walks into the bathroom, he sees his wife in a pool of blood in the bathtub. And that's like the very first 4 pages. And she did leave a note behind. And later on at the funeral, her family's discussing the note, how Steven has been cheating on her with a bunch of different girls, and she couldn't take it no more. And then later on, his mistress finds out that his wife, and so like now she's feeling super guilty as Steven comes over and tries to apologize to her, but she wants no part of him as she kicks him out. But he keeps on knocking on the door, and she's like, "What don't you understand?" And she opens it up, and it's the Slit-Mouthed Woman there asking her, "Do you think that she is pretty?" And then she ends up not alive anymore. And then like the next day in the office, Steven is bleeping another girl, right? And they get done, and she's like, "Oh my God, I need to hurry up and get cleaned up and go home to my husband because he's going to start wondering why I'm working past 8 every other night." And then so as she goes into the parking lots to leave, the Slit-Mouthed Woman walks up to her and asks her if she is pretty. And next thing you know, she's all carved up. And now the cops are on the scene. They're like, "Oh my God, this is like 3 dead bodies with the same MO. Man, we got a serial killer on the loose." And one of the detectives says, we already know who it is because all these dead bodies are connected to Steven. And so as they go interrogate him, they end up charging him with murder. And as he's on trial, he is in the jailhouse when somebody knocks on his jailhouse door. And as it opens up, it's the Slit-Mouthed Woman. And she says to him, I only have one question for you. Do you think I'm pretty? And he looks at her and says, hell no, you're not. And she's like, good, now you're not guilty, but you have one thing to do, as she hands him some scissors. And then now we're going to cut to the final verdict of, this trial. And it comes back not guilty. And you look at Steven, he's got 2 slits going up the side of his mouth because he had to slice his mouth open to save his life. And he told the Slit-Mouthed Woman that she wasn't pretty. The end of Zenescope, Grimm Tales of Terror. I know I straight up went spoilerly right there, but man, it's such a fast story. And the moral of this story is don't freaking cheat. Just get a divorce or break up, man. If not, the Slit-Mouthed Woman is going to come wreck your world. All right, man, it was a really fun book, really fast paced, one shot. The art right there is pretty good. I'm going to give the art a solid 7 out of 10. And they did a pretty dang good job. And then the story with it, we're going to go ahead and just give it another 7 out of 10. Solid book from Zenescope right there. I highly recommend you pick up these Grimm Tales of Terror, especially for one shot, so it's not like it leaves you with a cliffhanger. So hell yeah, dude. Man, there we go. All right, dude, we got one more book left. All right, man, it is time for Monsters, issue number 2, Mark Spears Monsters. I'm gonna tell you right now, dude, this thing it goes through a bunch of different timelines, a bunch of different scenes, but it is drawn amazingly. So let's get right to it. All right, the book starts off in Transylvania, 1477, as some dude is walking into Dracula's castle. He's looking for Vlad the Impaler. And as you hear a voice saying, you are welcome into my home. Come a little bit closer to me. And as he gets closer, he says, I am not Vlad the Impaler no more. You can call me Dracula. And now we jump forward to present time where 2 detectives are talking about the murders. I think there's been a few murders so far, and it says somebody is leaving the word monsters where the victims lie all bloody, and they just hope that they don't have a serial killer on hand. And now the next page, we're going to jump to Slidell, Louisiana, in the middle of the night in some hot springs where this dude is bringing this chick there to swim, in their bathing suits. And she wonders how many other ladies that he has brought to this spot underneath this full moon night, right? And so he's like, a couple other girls. And then all of a sudden he goes underneath the water and she thinks that he is just playing a trick on her. She's like, hey, I can feel you brush my leg. You are in so much trouble when you come back up. But then all of a sudden he comes up, but he's got blood coming out of his throat and he's floating there on the freaking river all dead. And then all of a sudden something picks her up and carries her out of the water, and it's the creature from the Black Lagoon. And then you hear a voice, and it's Dracula saying, I summon you out of the dark. I need your help to find the witch ring, so you come with me. And now we're going to jump to an unknown timeline where Dracula is wearing no skin and Igor saying, Master, you need the rest, as the brides of night are standing in the doorway. And he says, don't worry about it, Igor. There is so much that needs to be done. And my brides, you need to get me some substance, some more blood, wherever this is going. And now we jump to Area 51. Time unknown. There is a samurai breaking into the facility using shooting stars, stabbing people in the neck, and using their samurai sword and taking off heads. As they reach a main doctor, they're asking him, where is this element at? And now we jump back to where issue number 1 ends, where the Slayer is in Fat Tony's complex. He's already taken down some of his henchmen, and as he makes it to Fat Tony, he's sitting there watching a stripper dance up on the pole, and he walks in and says, "Fat Tony, where is Jekyll? I need to know where he is. Why do you think I know where he is at?" He says, "I know that you know everything. You keep books on everybody, and I want you to have him meet me in the Haunted Hollow in 2 hours." He says, "Well, what if I don't know where to find him? What if he doesn't want to come?" "Well, if that's the case, I'll be coming back for you and her." And now we cut back to Area 51, where the doctor is trapped from the samurai, and the samurai's boss walks up. It's some hot chick, and she says, "I need to know where this element, like 1131 is. If I'm going to give you the chance, I'm going to count to 5. If you don't tell me, I'm going to kill you." And then by the time she gets to 5, he says, "No, it's in Bay 94. She says, "Well, thank you." And then bam, blows his head off. And now she looks at the samurai and says, "Storm Shadow, we have the Witch Stone in our possession," and tell them that it's going to be in transit within 1 hour. But right now I have to go take care of something. And then now we cut back to the scene where the Slayer is walking outside of Fat Tony's complex, and he is met by one of the members of some sort of group that they're in, and he's telling her what's going on. She says that, "I'm glad that you are back." And as he makes it to the Haunting Meadow to meet Mr. Jekyll, he never shows up. He just sees a note there, and then all of a sudden some sort of dragon is running behind him, and then it cuts back to some time unknown, very far in the past, where they're talking about dragons and how only one of them survived. And that is the end of Monsters issue number 2. Man, talk about a convoluted jump around story, dude. Is this guy known? Is Mark Spears trying to copy Christopher Priest? I don't know. Is he trying to use, all our Universal monsters, maybe all of the ones that we can use without getting any copyrights? Maybe so, but all right, dude, that's just the end of it. So we gotta check out issue number 3. I think they're already on their way up to 6 or 8 right now, dude. So, all right, the art in this is a 10 out of 10. Absolutely stunning. You cannot go wrong with Mark Spears, dude. I want to show you that couple in the lagoon, right? Dude, check this thing out right here. Let's see if we can get it up. Bam, dude. And he's drawing it in nighttime. That thing is freaking cool as hell. All right, so 10 out of 10 on the art. Okay, the story on this one, it's convoluted as hell. I'm just going to go with a 7. It means I'm very intrigued. 7 means I'm very intrigued on this. 7 out of 10. Want to see where it's going to go. I'm glad I got issue number 3 right here. I thought I ordered issue number 4 or 5. If not, I'm going to have to go through my box and look for them. But yeah, story is 7 out of 10. Art 10 out of 10. It's been amazing, dude. So there we go, dude. I had to try to fly through those books for you all. Tell me which one was your favorite of this week. And better yet, tell me what comic book you read this week that was amazing to you that maybe I should check out in the Haunted Basement Studio. All right, man, if you like the way that I present this type of reviews, hit the like button and consider stabbing that subscription button. You can stab that subscription button and it's free of charge, baby. I won't charge you a dime at all. And hit that bleeping bell because you'll be notified when I go live every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, when we talk about the hottest covers of the week and whenever I drop, 5-minute reviews and unboxing videos, baby. All right, man. Thank you all for joining me, Triple B, in a Haunted Basement Studio. I want you guys to remember one thing. You keep it haunted. Comics. Later.